Okay, now I give you a sample of answer uh, for your revision question. You can see here number one is quite straightforward. You can see difference between preemptive and non-preemptive scheduling. So as the question answer stated there, preemptive scheduling allow a process to be interrupted in the midst of execution and taking the CPU away and allocating it to another process, while the non-preemptive scheduling ensure that a process relinquish control of the CPU only when it finishes its current CPU burst. Only complete, then they will release the CPU. This is non-preemptive. And then the number two, you see, this is the execution arrival, process arrival, and also execution time for the process. Each process will run for the amount of time listed as a burst time. In answering the question, use non-preemptive scheduling. This one, you require to use non-preemptive scheduling first. This keyword. And base all the decision on the information you have at the time the decision must be made. So the first question, what is average turnaround time for the processes with first come first serve scheduling? You go back to our notes previously in chapter 6, CPU scheduling, first come first serve. Then we calculate turnaround time, okay, for the process. The answer is 10.53. Then number two, what is the average turnaround time for this process with SJF scheduling algorithm? Shortest job first, non-preemptive. Okay, this is non-preemptive. So when shortest job first, you will see at arrival 0.0, you will start the first one, burst time 8, right? And then you will complete until 0.4. You can calculate how the burst, which process actually will be run first, and after that P3. This is job scheduling first. At arrival time 1, P3 actually will be execute first. Okay, you could try to calculate it based on the non-preemptive. Okay, non-preemptive means based on the arrival time when one of the process execute cannot be stopped. Double at time 0 until 8 will be P1 first. For first come first serve will be different. For first come first serve, you will calculate. When you calculate, you can get about 31 turnaround time total, 31.6. You divide by 3, and then you get this. Then for SJF, about 28, okay, 28.6. 8.6 in total, and divide by 3, you get. To make your life easier, you can draw a diagram, and then you can calculate. You will get the same answer. Okay. Number 3, summarize 4 services provided by the operating system. So this is the sample answer. There are many other services, right? But for this, if let's say you found for service 8 marks, that means you need to explain most of the time lah. File system manipulation, what mean by file system manipulation? You can delete, read, write, right, access, and so on. So user interface, what are the explanation? Mean when you have user interface like the command line, you can use also like genome for drag and drop. So that type of command line useful for user, because user can write something, can give instruction to computer to get the information, to access all the from network resources, and many more. That user interface. But program execution, when you click program, you can execute it, and specific application having specific usage. For example, I execute Microsoft Word, I can open this file. Okay, communication. Your operating system allow user to communicate with other users, or communicate with applications, communicate with the servers. And then I/O operation. This is also useful when you want to print, for example. You want to access your camera. You want to write something in the tablet or in the screen. This is like, yeah, and others. We need to explain. Okay, this is about common attribute number 4. Common attribute of file system in the operating system. This can be name, identifier type, location, size, protection, and many more. So you can view in your file explorer, Windows Explorer, you can see there are example of identifier, name of the file, ID of the file, file ID. So, okay, type, example PDF file or format. Then location, you need to explain location of the file stored in your storage, the size of the file in megabyte and kilobyte, protection, for example, can be read or write only, execute only. Is common file attribute in your file system. And lastly, best approaches to securing your operating system. Simple answer. First, you can establish a proper security policy. You need to explain what I mean by security policy. Security policy consider like a guideline that you can enforce, actually, policy that you can enforce, a document that you can enforce. For example, who can access this? What are the requirements when you are given the access? How the authentication about? How about the password policy, BYOD policy, to securing your host or your operating system? User login, password policy. Other than that, we have VAPT, mean vulnerability assessment, and also penetration testing. Vulnerability assessment, you can assess your operating system vulnerability or security holes or security bugs, you can say. Actually, you can scan using some of the scanner. So when you identify some vulnerability available or open in your operating system, you need to patch, you need to update, upgrade your operating system to ensure attacker cannot manipulate or exploit the vulnerability. Vulnerability is look like the weaknesses of your operating system. If you are weak, then the weaknesses, that particular weaknesses, can be exploited. Okay, this is vulnerability. The pen test, actually, pen testing or penetration testing is a methodology or mechanism used by attacker to penetrate inside your operating system. They use a lot of tools lah, security tools, hacker tools, to try penetrate using, for example, weakness. If your password is not strong password, they can try to using password breaker, for example. They can use also some sort like malware as well, right? Backdoor. There are many tools. So for pen test, it's very important to test, is it your operating system. This is in server side lah. Maybe for user side we didn't care more because the information inside is not very critical. But for company that hosting critical application or data, they need to do this to ensure the pen tester can look into their weaknesses as well to protect from unauthorized access from the pen test real attack penetration. Other than that, you can deploy or you can implement or install malware or virus protection tools. This type of tools actually has a signature or pattern of malware that can be recognized. So that if that particular malware or a virus, Trojan whatsoever, try to infect your device or your operating system, this anti-malware can detect and block. This is malware protection. Other than that, you can implement operating system monitoring in terms of uh, the performance, the health of your operating system. You can do some audit, for example. Other than that, you can have IDS, intrusion detection system, in host level. Although in network level you can do it, but in host level also you can have it. This look like file integrity monitoring. You can monitor any unauthorized modification in your operating system and many more. Also, we have firewall, right? Firewall is the common one. Host level firewall. You can apply also for your operating system. Linux, they have their own, UFW and many more. Windows also built in the host-based firewall. We can set. Okay, I think that's all for the answer. You can check is it your answer is correct or not. Okay, good luck for your final. Thank you for giving full commitment in our class. Bye bye.